Hey guys, 7 Ninja here, and today we'll be talking about Spider-Man. It's really a concept I have for the Marvel Avengers, like what they could go for. I'll be talking about support abilities, I'll be talking about assault abilities, and I'll be talking about his ultimate. Um, it's probably something you've seen before if you've been playing a lot of Marvel games, such as Omega Heroes or Ultimate Alliance, or maybe um, just the PS4 Spider-Man game itself, right? So, yeah, let's get on to it. Alright, for the first ability, the support ability, I was going to talk about Spider Quips. I think Spider Quips could be a really good ability for, especially team play, but how they could do it right is instead of it being something like with Hulk where he smashes the ground with Bone Shaker, right, to cause a taunt. Spider-Man's can have a bigger radius because it does no damage, and it can taunt everybody towards him. It immediately draws aggro from any enemy that's on any teammate and goes automatically to Spider-Man. What they could do is Spider-Man's taunts either causes a defense down, such as like kind of like how pin particles work, but it's like an extra defense down. They could go the route of Spider-Man gets better dodging or better blocking. Not blocking. Better defense buff. So kind of like Cap's like rallying cry. He can get a better defense buff for it, or he can get a more crit chance or just raw damage buff as his support ability. So there's like 3 different ideas they could go with. But then they might end up just doing in like let's say the specialty tree. They could literally just make it so that his support ability taunt has the ability to just you can just switch between those 3 things. There's that, and there's also this could be a good way to instead of just going down the route of if they have takedowns for Royal Corps, you could get something where if he hits them with their taunt. You could kind of say the same thing about Rallying Cry, like on Cap. It's kind of the same there. Anyone that's taunted has you defeat while it's taunted gives you heroic orbs. For his heroic assault ability, I was thinking of the Amazing Smash. Spider-Man in other games can do the Amazing Smash without having to use it as an ultimate. Think of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions when you're playing as Amazing Spider-Man. He legit causes a web hammer. He does a web slam all the time. It's something you can just naturally do without it being an ultimate ability. And so I think that Spider-Man, at least in Marvel Avengers, if they don't want to go the route of him grabbing enemies with the ability, he could literally make a giant web ball that has rocks in it and slam it onto the ground, just like that. So, for his heroic ability, the Amazing Smash. For traits, he can have something like, kind of like Black Widow with Lightning Fist. It can change the way the ability works. So instead of it just slamming down a giant web ball with rocks in it, instead it grabs low-level enemies, such as the cyborgs, the synthenoids and stuff, and just regular keepers. It could cause webbing, which just causes it to slow, but it takes it's like a damage over time. And for maybe another trait, it causes a defense down. So there you go. Let's go on to the ultimate. For Spider-Man's ultimate ability, I was thinking of Web Blossom. Now, why not Amazing Smash for ultimate instead of Web Blossom? Web Blossom to me is something that requires a lot of web fluid, and you're gonna understand what I mean by that when we go to the intrinsic bar. But to me, Web Blossom causes a lot of web fluid, and he's not going to use it as often. But he's more likely to use Amazing Smash, considering Amazing Smash can literally just be, I pull up a car, I pull up a rock, I pull up a person, and I slam them together onto either the enemy or onto the ground. That's what Amazing Smash is. It's not as much fluid as it would take to use Web Blossom. What I was thinking for the line of synergy for his abilities, you use your quips to drag your enemies towards Spider-Man. And then you use your Web Blossom to stun them. Not a takedown stun, but just a regular stun, like 1 to 2 seconds, depending on how they decide to balance that. And then you could use your Amazing Smash to deal a lot of damage. The debuff from the webbing of your web blossom, you could do something like Black Widow's with her power surge and her Widow's bite. You could do something like that. The debuff from webbing, right? It's just some idea I'm tossing out there, which we will get into traits as soon as we get off of that. The webbing debuff that you get from Amazing Smash, if they decide to go that route, could be used to buff up your Amazing Smash. And this way, your Amazing Smash can be up more, but you're not going to be web blossoming all the time. It's a giant AoE. It's not going to be something you're going to do all the time, but Amazing Smash can be done all the time. And so I think the synergy would go from your support to your ultimate to your heroic assault. Even in most games, your assault, but your offensive ability will be used more than your ultimate. Like, you're gonna want to use your ultimate, sure, but in some games there are characters where they use their use a particular ability more than they use their ultimate ability. So there we go. Now on to traits for the ultimate. 3 traits that they could do. Webbing could be used as a slow or just like a damage buff for your Amazing Smash. It literally could just be, though, a webbing slow that it just applies. For number 2, if they choose to go this route, they could use the Web Blossom as a way to change the Web Blossom itself if they decide to go this route. Such as like Lightning Fist for Black Widow, they could change that into the Amazing Smash is the ultimate because it drags in enemies and slams them. They could do something like that, but let's say they don't want to do that ability twice. They could literally make it so that you can, whatever you web blossomed, you can pull together into like a funnel, and then like your teammates can still beat on whatever is being in web yanked, right? It'll just be pulled in towards Spider-Man. For Spider-Man's 3rd trait, I was thinking something around the lines of he could do a single target web blossom. What do I mean by that? So instead of him focusing on a giant area, he can focus down whatever he's targeting at the time. So let's say he's aiming in for his web shooters. Instead of just jumping in the air to fire everywhere, he literally has like machine gun web shooters, and he just unloads on an adaptoid. This way you could use it in a sense like a single target ability. Now this would change the ability again. So like I said, I don't know if they're willing to do this, but instead of it being giant AoE, think of it as a machine gun just going straight in like Black Widow's dual pistols, and you're only focused on one enemy. For Spider-Man's traversal, number 1, kind of like Hulk. So if you know, Hulk can hold on to the wall for as long as he wants, at least as far as I've tested. And what I think would happen is he would start off in a wall crawl if he's on a wall. Let's say he wants to go up, he'll go up. Instead of it being a crawl up, he'll just do a wall run up, kind of like how Cap works. So let's go back a little bit. So what I'm thinking is they're going to copy Cap. Because it's a lot faster to wall run than it is to wall crawl. I think they'll copy Cap and make him wall run horizontally and make him wall run vertically. When we go down to how does his traversal work when he's not on a wall, such as when he's swinging around a city or when he's inside the mountains or whatever. Spider-Man swings on trees, dude. Like, Spider-Man swims on trees in New York, right? He swings on trees in New York. In many games, he swings around trees in New York. Sure, it's not as easy as swinging on tall buildings, but Spider-Man can swing on trees in New York. I don't know why. I know some people that say Spider-Man's biggest weaknesses are the parks. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. It's not as easy, sure, but he can still do it because the trees, some of the rocks he swings on in other games and movies and stuff are much smaller than some of these trees. So, look, Spider-Man's web swinging can work anywhere. I think that they are going to do something differently than how they did Black Widow and all that. I think they're going to do something differently. So we're probably going to see something like how Hulk has his what's called a sprint hop or sprint jump. How Iron Man flies differently, how Thor flies differently than Iron Man. I think we're gonna get something like it's something special strictly for Spider-Man or Spider-Man-like characters. I don't think we're gonna get the Black Widow situation or the Kamala Khan situation where they have to grapple up to somewhere. Spider-Man can grapple if they decide to give him a grapple ability. He can web zip up to a location, but I think that how they would probably do it is Spider-Man's able to web swing either on air, or if he has anything around. If he doesn't have anything around to web zip on, well, not web zip, but web swing on, I think he'll web zip. And I say that on the idea that Spider-Man does not always web swing. I mean, you're seeing it now. He doesn't always web swing. Sometimes he has to web zip. Sometimes he just jumps around. This isn't like I said. He doesn't always have to web swing. It just really depends on the area he's in. But Spider-Man can gain distance strictly from web zipping. So let's keep in mind he doesn't always have to web swing. Now I don't know the intricacies of gaming like that to say that it would be easy to implement that, but I think if we're going to go off of how can they implement traversal for Spider-Man, there are two ways to do that. And one will be web zipping. He kind of does that in some buildings. He kind of does it in sewers as well. It just really depends on where you're looking. And he web zips in most areas anyway. So there's many evidential things for that. Yeah, there's many evidential things for like Black Widow and Miss Marvel, but just strictly going off of if they want them to feel right, they can't go off of the grapple idea they have for Black Widow and Miss Marvel. So I think like this would be the best way. One of the things I thought about during this video was that for his suits, I don't really think they can do what they did for Hulk and everyone else, where they've got a bunch of recolors. The reason I say that is Spider-Man necessarily doesn't have a recolor suit. Hulk has different colors of his body. There's also a red Hulk. But you know, there's different colors of a Hulk. There's different colors of an Iron Man suit. That's a normal thing. And Black Widow, she's literally just wearing regular clothes, and sometimes she dyes her hair. Like, this is a normal thing. Same thing you can kind of say about some of Thor's costumes, right? But for Spider-Man, though, he doesn't really have anything besides maybe like the big time suit where he's got like the spider symbol is green. Maybe you can change that to a couple different colors. His stealth suit, which I'm wearing right now, it's kind of like it's red, but like I feel like this is also a mimic off the big time suit. Like I'm not 100% on the accuracy of the comics for that suit, but this is something that they could do, right? Well, they can't do, but I don't think they can do recolors for suits unless it's something like this. That doesn't mean they're not going to try to pull it. I mean, at the end of the day, we might see Spider-Man and the guy that I think he said he created him, or he cooperated it with him, with Stan Lee on him, where I think his original colors are supposed to be orange and purple. Correct me if I'm wrong. They could do something like that. I mean, it's a callback to those earlier times where they wanted that to be a thing. So it's certainly possible. That being said, do I think they'll do it? No. This is also like the exclusive Sony character too, so I don't think they'll go the route of a bunch of recolor skins. But that being said, I don't even think it would make sense for him to have a bunch of recolored skins. I do think you could go off of the idea that there is one suit. I think it might be the negative suit I'm thinking about, but there is one suit that's kind of like black and gray that looks like the regular Spider-Man suit. You might be able to go off of that, but I think that's as far as you could go. They could do the black symbiote suit, but just make it look like the regular suit, and it could be a callback to that. But they maybe later on down the line they may want to do an all-black suit, not all-black suit, but a symbiote suit, and so that would kind of put them in like a bad situation. But that is something I may have thought of, like when I said I don't really think they'll do like do recolor skins, and if they do, it's going to be a small amount. But now let's get on to the intrinsic. This is more of a two-parter as it pertains to the ranged option. So I have two ideas. Number one, we can go the Black Widow route, where she doesn't exactly have to worry about her intrinsic when it comes to her weapons, because the weapons have their own clip size, they have their own ammo. They don't have to worry about your intrinsic bar like Iron Man. They literally have their own ammo. So we could go off of that idea. But one of the things I remember, especially back in the old days, and kind of in Spider-Man PS4, is where you have to regenerate your web supply. It's something that you normally see with Spider-Man. It's not like he has an infinite amount of clips or whatever. It's literally just what's already packed in there, plus whatever he's got stored in his suit somewhere, if he has anything stored in his suit. So, I'm thinking, okay, if it doesn't go the Black Widow route, it can go the Iron Man route. So Iron Man has to regenerate his energy. Otherwise, the only thing he can do is like fly around and punch stuff. Which, as an Iron Man, you already know you're not going to do that anyway. But for Spider-Man, right, he could either A, he's got to regenerate his webbing, or B, he's got the Black Widow route. How they could do that? So the three things I think Spider-Man could do, we're going to talk about first the range stability, and then we're going to talk about the power version. For his first range stability, his rapid fire, right? I'm thinking it's just like regular rapid fire, and then when he wants to do his range power version of that, he can go for a impact web, if you will. His secondary ammo type would be a stream of web. So stream of webs are kind of like whenever you're doing a burst takedown on Spider-Man PS4, whatever, when it's like on Shattered Dimensions, you know, Spider-Man just sometimes he webs up his enemies and then hangs them somewhere. What you could do for your range power attack on your web stream is make it so that he can web yank someone and just basically throw them. It'll be a singular web yank. Maybe they might want to do more depending on your traits, but it'd be a singular web yank that would just allow you to throw a random enemy somewhere. Sure, it wouldn't, but not grabs from Hulk don't work on Adaptoids unless they're like pin particleized. Well, there's two things I thought last, but the thing is that impact webbing would cover the same job, but read from range. The difference would be that recoil strand would allow for a bigger radius, but it would have a smaller range. I was thinking though, instead of focusing so much on webbing, I was thinking maybe let's just go down the route of Spider-Man's not always going to use things that are webbing related. So maybe he'll use his spider bot. And so I was thinking, why not just go the spider bot route? You know, it would be the first summon, right? But it wouldn't do too much damage. But it would be some way to get the aggro off Spider-Man. Even though there may be like a Hulk or whatever in there, it would be a way to get the aggro off Spider-Man. And so I thought, okay, well, let's just give him something a little more wackier than just a bunch of webbing abilities. Because the elements are covered by the different ranged slot that you carry, such as electrical, cosmic, gamma, plasma, right? That's already covered by that. So then it's just, well, what could we do besides webbing? Because recoil, like I said before, recoil strand is covered by impact web. There's no purpose in doing it that way. So I think the spider route would work best. You could do the same with how the webbing changes element type through the range slot. It could do the same thing for the Spider-Bot's shooter, and how they depends on how they want to do the you know, the gun they use for that. So like it could just literally just be it shoots out like random elements of bullets, but it also could be like depending on what type of element it uses depends on how the ammo type in the web bot works, right? But that's it for that. Lastly, I think that Spider-Man's melee combat should feel as good as Widow's. I feel like Widow has the best melee combat in the game. Cap's is good too, but it's not as good as Widow's. Widow just flows. I'm saying that as a Black Widow main, but Widow's just flows. Hulk's feels amazing too, but nothing flows like Widow's. Now, Hulk's a good way to get someone in the game, don't get me wrong. He certainly feels like his character, but Widow feels fluid, alright? Like, I'm running out of words to describe Plo, alright? That's just how good she is. But Widow feels amazing. And so what I'm saying is, I think if we're going to mimic any character's fighting style, I think Black Widow would be the best option for characters that Spider-Man can mimic. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I know it's a long video, and like most people probably don't want to watch a really long video, but it's just a concept I had, and so I kind of just wanted to put it all out there. I didn't go full detail as in the mastery tree, you know, there's certain special things you can do with that. I will say one thing, his spider sense, right? Maybe do something where if a ranged attack is about to hit you, or maybe a melee, the spider sense will blink for you, letting you know it's coming closer. It's like another signal for just Spider-Man players in general.
I do miss Avengers
and that way they can just do like a spider sense tab or something. But you know, like I said, this is just proof of concept. I've thought about a lot of what I've said in the video, but you know, there's a lot of things you could probably do, such as Spider-Man's agility, spider strength, you know, whatever. Or you know, wall crawler, web slinger, you know, all that terminology, right? There's so many things I could do with that, but I don't know where they're gonna go with that, and I'd rather leave that up to them. I feel like the mastery tree it's defined, but it's more like you won't know what they're after until it's there. So to me, the mastery tree is more of a random variable versus the primary and the secondary are something that you can kind of guess, right? Primary, that's just your regular abilities, your melee and range. Your secondary is going to be your special abilities, such as your support, your assault, and your ultimate. But your mastery really depends. It really depends on whatever they decide, because for me, that's a very, very random variable. But like I said, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, remember, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you know, like the video. Also leave some comments, because at the end of the day, this is just a concept. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.